The challenge from the stars. Supreme Commander Jorith stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Celestial Fury, gazing at the holographic display before him. His imposing figure, clad in ornate armor crafted from the remnants of conquered worlds, cast a long shadow over his crew. They had just made a remarkable discovery, a small blue-green planet located in a remote corner of the galaxy, designated as Earth. "Report," he commanded, his voice booming with authority while his mind raced with thoughts about their last failed campaign against the Xylarians, a race known for their peculiar obsession with music festivals. "Supreme Commander," began his science officer, Vera, adjusting her glasses made from polished crystal. "We have detected signs of intelligent life on this planet. They call themselves humans." Jorith raised an eyebrow, intrigued yet skeptical. "Humans? What do we know about them?" Vera hesitated before continuing. "Their activities seem rather trivial. They engage in peculiar rituals involving large food items and strange devices they call smartphones." The display shifted to show humans attempting to eat oversized hamburgers and recording each other's mishaps on hoverboards. Joritha's mandibles twitched in disbelief. "These are their warriors?" "No, sir," Vera replied, stifling a laugh. "These are just their entertainment videos." "Show me their military capabilities," he demanded, feeling a mix of annoyance and curiosity. The display transformed to reveal footage of humans engaged in various military exercises, crawling through mud, performing synchronized movements they called marching, and engaging in what appeared to be push-ups. Joritha's pride swelled at this spectacle. Surely such a primitive species could not pose a threat. "Apparently," Vera continued cautiously, "they have achieved space travel but seem more interested in sending satellites into orbit to observe cat videos." The commander's initial excitement began to dwindle. This was not what he had hoped for. A glorious conquest over a mighty civilization would boost morale after their embarrassing defeat against the Xylarian Music Festival warriors. "Prepare the challenge decree," Jorith announced dramatically, his armor clanking as he struck what he believed to be a heroic pose. "We shall challenge these humans to ritual combat for their planet." Vera's eyes widened in concern. "Sir, shouldn't we study them further? Their historical record suggests they are not as primitive as they appear." "Nonsense," Jorith retorted, gesturing toward the screen where a human was attempting to teach a cat to play piano. "Look at them. What could possibly go wrong?" Meanwhile, across the vast expanse of space at United Nations headquarters in New York City, an extraordinary scene unfolded. Secretary General Maria Santos was attempting to maintain her composure during what had quickly devolved into chaos among world leaders. "I'm sorry," she said incredulously as she listened to the alien transmission once more. "They want to challenge us to what?" The transmission repeated, "Greetings puny humans. We, the mighty Zilthar Empire, challenge you to ritual combat for the fate of your world. You have 24 hours to respond." Laughter erupted around the room as representatives exchanged bewildered glances. The Chinese representative leaned toward his American counterpart and asked, "Did they just challenge us to a fistfight?" "Yes," came the reply with a chuckle. The Russian representative could no longer contain herself, she burst into laughter. "Did anyone else notice they're wearing armor made from bones? Who does that? That's so ancient." Maintaining her famous stiff upper lip despite her twitching mouth, the British representative adjusted his tie and added dryly, "I suppose we should form a committee to draft a response." "Oh no," Santos interjected with a grin spreading across her face. "I think we can handle this one directly." She pressed a button on her communication panel and declared boldly, "This is Secretary General Santos of Earth. We accept your challenge. Please send us details regarding your combat traditions, and one quick question, do you have any dietary restrictions for the afterparty?" The room erupted into poorly suppressed giggles as representatives began planning what was sure to be an unforgettable tailgate party surrounding this unprecedented event. In another part of Manhattan, vendors were already capitalizing on this bizarre situation by selling T-shirts emblazoned with slogans like, "I survived the alien invasion." Meanwhile, digital billboards lit up Times Square with messages like, "Earth vs. Zilthar, the throwdown of the century. Get your tickets now." Back aboard the Celestial Fury, Commander Jorith squinted at his screen as notifications flooded in regarding surge pricing for something called Uber. His anticipation for terror gripping humanity was met instead with images of celebration. "Sir," Vera reported again, her voice strained with disbelief. "The humans appear to be celebrating. What in the name of our sacred bone throne is a tailgate party?" Jorith demanded as he observed yet another billboard promoting ticket sales for an event that seemed more like a carnival than an impending battle. As laughter echoed through Earth's streets and excitement built among its inhabitants, Jorith realized this would not be an ordinary conquest, it would be something entirely different, an unexpected clash between two worlds that neither side could fully comprehend yet. Preparing for battle. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the bustling streets of New York City, a sense of urgency filled the air. The world was abuzz with excitement and anxiety as news of the alien challenge spread like wildfire. In a secure bunker beneath the United Nations building, a group of military leaders and strategists gathered to devise a plan for humanity's defense against the Zilthar Empire. The Gathering of Minds. Captain Eleonora Voss, a seasoned strategist known for her sharp wit and tactical brilliance, stood at the head of the table. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her piercing blue eyes scanned the faces of her colleagues. "We have less than 24 hours to prepare," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "We need to understand our enemy and exploit their weaknesses." General Marcus Rain, a veteran of countless conflicts, leaned forward in his chair. "These Zilthar may be technologically advanced, but they underestimate us. We've faced worse odds before." He gestured toward a large screen displaying images of the Zilthar warriors in their ceremonial armor. "Look at them, they're overconfident. Training day." As Eleonora outlined her plan, teams were quickly assembled to train soldiers from various nations. The atmosphere was a mix of determination and camaraderie, with soldiers sharing stories and laughter amidst the seriousness of their task. They practiced drills that combined traditional military tactics with innovative strategies that highlighted human adaptability. "All right, listen up," Eleonora shouted as she stood on a makeshift stage in a training facility filled with soldiers. "We might not have their technology, but we have something they don't, ingenuity. Let's show them what humans are made of." The soldiers cheered, their spirits lifted by Eleonora's enthusiasm. They paired up to practice hand-to-hand combat techniques while others worked on using improvised weapons crafted from everyday objects. A group of engineers collaborated with soldiers to create gadgets that could disrupt Zilthar technology. The unlikely heroes. Among the soldiers was Private Amir Khan, a young engineer who had joined the military to serve his country but never expected to find himself in an intergalactic conflict. He had spent countless hours tinkering with machines and dreaming of space exploration. Now, he felt a mix of fear and excitement as he prepared for battle. "Hey, Amir," called out Corporal Jenna Lee, a skilled marksman known for her sharpshooting abilities. "Do you think you can whip up something that can jam their communication systems?" Amir nodded eagerly. "I've been working on a device that can interfere with radio signals. If we can get close enough to their ships, it might just work." Jenna grinned. "Perfect. Let's make sure it's ready before we face those oversized lizards." A moment of reflection. As night fell over the city, Eleonora took a moment to reflect on the gravity of their situation. She stepped outside onto the rooftop terrace overlooking Manhattan, where lights twinkled like stars against the dark sky. The weight of leadership pressed heavily on her shoulders. She knew that every decision she made could mean life or death for countless people. "Why do we always end up in these situations?" she murmured to herself, recalling past conflicts that had tested humanity's resolve. Just then, her thoughts were interrupted by a soft voice behind her. It was Amir, holding 2 cups of steaming coffee. "I thought you could use this," he said with a shy smile. "Thanks," she replied gratefully as she accepted one of the cups. "How are you feeling about all this?" Amir shrugged but looked determined. "I'm scared but also excited. This is our chance to show what humanity can do." Eleonora nodded in agreement. "Exactly. We may be outnumbered and outgunned, but we have heart and creativity on our side." The night before battle. As dawn approached, soldiers gathered for one final briefing before facing their alien adversaries. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation as Eleonora addressed them once more. "Today is not just about fighting, it's about showing who we are as humans," she declared passionately. "We've faced challenges before, this is just another chapter in our story. Remember your training and trust each other." With renewed determination coursing through them, the soldiers cheered once more before heading to their designated positions for the impending battle. The calm before the storm. Meanwhile, aboard the Celestial Fury, Supreme Commander Jorith observed Earth from his command deck as his fleet prepared for battle. He felt confident in his forces but couldn't shake off an unsettling feeling about this peculiar planet. "Commander Vera," he called out as he paced back and forth. "What is this tailgate party I keep hearing about? Why are they celebrating?" Vera adjusted her glasses nervously. "Sir, it appears they are preparing for some form of ritualistic gathering before combat, a way to bolster morale among themselves." Jorith frowned at this unfamiliar concept. He had always believed that fear was the greatest motivator in battle. "Perhaps we should consider sending them a message," he mused aloud. "Something to remind them of our superiority." Vera nodded thoughtfully as she began drafting an announcement intended to instill fear among humans while also showcasing Zilthar's strength. The stage is set. As both sides prepared for what would become an unforgettable confrontation between 2 worlds, one fueled by creativity and resilience, the other by arrogance and tradition, the universe held its breath in anticipation. With every passing moment leading up to combat day, both humans and Zilthar readied themselves for an encounter that would shake not only their worlds but also reverberate throughout the cosmos. The stage was set for an epic showdown, the strongest in the galaxy against humanity's indomitable spirit, and neither side truly understood what awaited them when they finally clashed. The battle begins. As the sun set over Central Park, casting long shadows across the gathering crowd, the atmosphere shifted from one of celebration to anticipation. The dance-off had sparked unexpected camaraderie between humans and Zilthar, but now it was time for the reality of their challenge to unfold. Both sides stood ready, adrenaline coursing through their veins, as they prepared for the battle that would determine the fate of Earth. The calm before the storm. Eleonora Voss stood at the forefront of her team, her heart pounding in her chest. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. "All right, everyone," she called out, her voice strong and clear. "This is it. We've trained hard for this moment, and we know what we're up against. Remember our strategies and trust each other." Around her, soldiers nodded in agreement, their faces a mix of determination and excitement. They had come together from different nations, united by a common goal, to protect their planet from an alien threat. Eleonora felt a swell of pride as she looked at her diverse team, each person bringing unique skills and perspectives to the fight. The Zilthar forces assemble. Meanwhile, on the other side of the park, Supreme Commander Jorith surveyed his troops with a critical eye. His Zilthar warriors stood tall in their ceremonial armor, ready for combat. Jorith's mind raced as he recalled the unexpected joy he had witnessed during the dance-off. It was a stark contrast to the fierce warriors he knew them to be. Warriors of the Zilthar Empire. Jorith bellowed, his voice echoing across the field. "Today we face these humans in battle. They may seem weak and foolish, but they have proven resourceful. We must show them our strength." The Zilthar soldiers responded with a roar of approval, their confidence bolstered by Joratha's commanding presence. Yet deep down, Jorath couldn't shake off a lingering doubt about underestimating these humans. The opening clash. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the battlefield, both sides took their positions. The tension was palpable as Eleonora raised her hand to signal readiness. With a swift motion, she brought it down, signaling the start of combat. The first clash echoed through Central Park as humans charged forward with improvised weapons, makeshift shields crafted from metal scraps and clubs fashioned from sturdy branches. The Zilthar warriors countered with their advanced technology, energy shields and plasma rifles that crackled with power. Eleonora led her team into the fray with unwavering resolve. "Stay focused. Use your training," she shouted as they engaged in combat with surprising agility. Human ingenuity in action. As chaos erupted around them, Eleonora observed how her team adapted quickly to the situation. Private Amir Khan activated his jamming device, a small gadget he had created during training, and it emitted a pulse that disrupted Zilthar communication signals. "Now's our chance." Amir shouted over the din of battle as he watched Zilthar soldiers struggle to coordinate their attacks. With renewed vigor, Eleonora rallied her troops. "Push forward. Let's show them what we're made of." The humans fought valiantly, utilizing their surroundings to gain an advantage. They ducked behind trees for cover and used guerrilla tactics to outmaneuver their opponents. Each victory fueled their determination. They were not just fighting for survival but also for each other. The unexpected turn. As the battle raged on, something unexpected occurred. One of the Zilthar warriors, a towering figure named Korak, found himself intrigued by human tactics rather than angered by them. He had been trained to see humans as inferior beings but was now witnessing their resilience firsthand. "Commander!" Korak shouted to Jorath amidst the chaos. "These humans are not what we expected. They are clever and resourceful." Joratha's expression hardened as he watched his forces struggle against human ingenuity. "Focus on defeating them. We cannot show weakness." But Korak couldn't shake off his fascination with humanity's spirit. He began to question whether this battle was truly necessary or if there could be another way. A moment of reflection. In a brief lull between skirmishes, Eleonora took a moment to catch her breath and assess the battlefield. She noticed how some Zilthar warriors hesitated in their attacks. They seemed conflicted about engaging in battle against such spirited opponents. "Why are they hesitating?" she wondered aloud as she wiped sweat from her brow. Amir joined her side, panting heavily. "Maybe they're starting to see us differently. They might realize we're not just mindless creatures." Eleonora nodded thoughtfully, considering how this battle could change perceptions on both sides if they survived it. The turning point. Just when it seemed like humanity might gain an upper hand, Jorath made a bold decision. He ordered his forces to regroup and rethink their strategy rather than continue fighting blindly. "Warriors," he called out with newfound urgency. "We must adapt. These humans are not mere prey, they are formidable opponents." Korak stepped forward beside him. "Perhaps we can find common ground instead of continuing this senseless conflict." Jorath shot him a sharp look but couldn't deny that Korak's words resonated within him. He had witnessed something extraordinary today, the strength of human creativity against overwhelming odds. A new proposal. As both sides paused amidst the chaos of battle, Eleonora seized this opportunity to propose an alternative solution, a chance for dialogue rather than destruction. "Zilthar warriors," she called out boldly across no man's land. "We do not have to fight. We can learn from each other instead. Let us find a way to coexist." Her words hung in the air like an unspoken promise, a glimmer of hope amidst uncertainty. Jorath hesitated but felt compelled by Korak's earlier suggestion and Eleonora's courage. Perhaps there was merit in exploring peace rather than pursuing victory at all costs. A moment of unity. In that pivotal moment on the battlefield, where bloodshed had been expected, an unexpected alliance began forming between two worlds that had previously viewed each other through lenses clouded by misunderstanding and prejudice. As both sides lowered their weapons cautiously and approached each other tentatively, they took tentative steps toward forging an understanding built on respect rather than fear, a new chapter in their shared history waiting to be written under starlit skies filled with possibility. The turning point. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over Central Park, both humans and Zilthar warriors stood at a precarious crossroads. The initial clash had transformed from a fierce battle into an unexpected moment of connection. Eleonora Voss, captain of the human forces, looked around at her comrades and the alien warriors who had once seemed so formidable. Now, they were merely beings caught in the same cosmic struggle for survival. A moment of reflection. Eleonora took a deep breath, her heart racing as she stepped forward, raising her hands to signal peace. Zilthar warriors, she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos that had surrounded them just moments before. We do not have to continue this fight. We can learn from each other. The Zilthar soldiers exchanged confused glances, their expressions shifting from aggression to curiosity. Supreme Commander Jorith, still grappling with his own doubts about the necessity of violence, stepped forward beside Korik. "What do you propose?" he asked, his voice booming but tinged with a hint of intrigue. Eleonora seized the opportunity. "Instead of fighting, let's engage in a demonstration of our strengths, our creativity, our resilience. We can showcase what makes us unique without bloodshed." The proposal for unity. Jorith considered her words carefully. He had always viewed humans as inferior beings, but now he saw their potential for ingenuity and collaboration. "Very well," he replied slowly. "Let us put down our weapons and explore this idea together." With that decision, an air of cautious optimism filled the battlefield. The tension that had once gripped both sides began to dissipate as soldiers lowered their weapons and stepped back. Eleonora turned to her team and said, "Let's show them what humanity is capable of." A new kind of challenge. The atmosphere shifted from one of hostility to one of collaboration as both sides began brainstorming ideas for their demonstration. Eleonora suggested a series of challenges that would highlight their respective strengths, a contest of strategy, creativity, and perhaps even a friendly game that combined elements from both cultures. "Let's start with something simple," Eleonora proposed. "A race. We can incorporate both human ingenuity and Zilthar technology." Korik's eyes lit up at the idea. "A race? That could be entertaining. Our hovercrafts are faster than your vehicles, but I'm curious to see how you'll adapt." Eleonora grinned. "And we'll use our creativity to level the playing field." Preparing for the contest. As preparations began for the contest, both sides worked together to set up courses and challenges that would test their skills in various ways. Humans brought forth their engineering prowess while Zilthar warriors contributed their advanced technology. Amir Khan, the young engineer who had played a crucial role in developing jamming devices during battle, found himself working alongside Korik to build an obstacle course that would challenge both agility and strategy. "This is incredible!" Amir exclaimed as they collaborated on designing jumps and hurdles made from materials scavenged from the battlefield. "I never thought I'd be working with an alien warrior." Korik chuckled deeply, surprising Amir with his warmth. "Perhaps we are not so different after all." The contest begins. As the day progressed, excitement built among both humans and Zilthar warriors. The contest was set to begin at sunset, a symbolic gesture representing new beginnings rather than endings. Eleonora stood at the starting line alongside Jorith and Korik, ready to kick off the first challenge, a race through the obstacle course they had built together. "On your marks," she shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Get set," Jorith added with an authoritative tone. "Go." Korik finished with enthusiasm. With that command, competitors surged forward, humans sprinting with agility while Zilthar hovercrafts glided above them effortlessly. Surprising outcomes. As they raced through the course filled with twists and turns, it quickly became apparent that human ingenuity was proving to be just as effective as Zilthar technology. Eleonora maneuvered through obstacles with grace while Amir used his engineering skills to create shortcuts that allowed him to leap ahead. Impressive! Korak shouted as he watched Amir navigate through a particularly tricky section of the course. But it wasn't just about speed, it was also about strategy. As competitors reached obstacles requiring teamwork, like lifting heavy barriers or solving puzzles, they realized they needed to collaborate rather than compete against each other. Building bridges. With each challenge completed together, whether it was helping each other over walls or strategizing ways to overcome obstacles, the bond between humans and Zilthar grew stronger. Laughter echoed across Central Park as they celebrated small victories together. "I never thought I'd enjoy working alongside you," Jorith admitted to Eleonora during a break in competition. Eleonora smiled warmly in response. "Neither did I. But this is what humanity is about, finding strength in unity." The final challenge. As night fell and stars twinkled above them like diamonds scattered across velvet fabric, it was time for the final challenge, a test of creativity where teams would have to build something using limited resources provided by both species. Eleonora gathered her team while Korak rallied his Zilthar warriors nearby. They brainstormed ideas for their final creations, a testament not only to their skills but also to what they had learned from one another throughout this journey. "Let's build something that symbolizes our newfound friendship," Amir suggested excitedly. Korak nodded thoughtfully before adding, "And let it be functional too. Perhaps we can create something that combines our technologies." Creating together. With renewed energy coursing through them, both teams set to work crafting their final projects, using everything from scraps left behind on the battlefield to advanced materials supplied by Zilthar technology. As laughter filled the air once more and creativity flowed freely between humans and Zilthar alike, their differences began fading away into something beautiful, a collaborative masterpiece representing unity amidst diversity.